All right, now hopefully sound is coming through. It's been a while since we've been on. So just watching our good friend MV, trying to figure out some stuff in Action PC Baseball. So I thought we'd have a little fun and do a few tutorials, as it says on the tin. So we'll wait for our good lad to get in here from Cardiff, Wales via West Virginia. And considering I have done music down in New Martinsville, West Virginia, probably a place, of course, in his last, in his broadcast there, MV said "dag nabbit." So there you go, there you go. So I guess we can just wait till MV comes in because I did warn him it would be about 2 minutes. So hopefully he's getting the, yeah, getting the thing that I'm on, and of course, again, up against RJO Network. But folks go to RJO Network aren't they're not about this, so that's fine. So let's see baseball news. What's going on? Boy, O'Neal Cruz, he's out for 4 months for my Bucks, who have a 6-3 start. So we're kind of a little bit worried about that one. Other baseball news for Out of the Park Baseball 24 players. The stadium mod that we wait for every year is up on Steam Workshop. Um, so I installed the 1908 season just to see, and it does default to the high Sox. It looks like this Silva M. Mike Silva is his name, a longtime modder in the community has really done some serious work. Everything's looking crisper. The parks look nicer. The texturing, so that's all good. Um, a lot of people are playing Digital Diamond, playing it as a dice game, and I think that's really cool. I'll be playing it strictly as a digital game, maybe messing around every once in a while with it, using a dice roller or something with, um, yeah, what is it? Doing Status Pro Baseball, which I played a lot. So I'm going to go on our Discord right now and let these guys know, let people know that I'm doing something a bit here. And hopefully a few will come in. Yep. All right, let me see. All right, let's go to announcements. All right. Boink, there, that's done. Wait and see who comes in. I guess the Howie Shanks League. Steve Tate did a broadcast earlier that I caught when I came home from work. That's really coming along. He's got a lot of the photos done, if not all. Still waiting for team names, colors, whatever for a few people. So if you're catching this on the flip side, please do it. Please do it. Um, yeah. So I don't want to get into these tutorials yet until MV gets here, but I'm going to swap around the season a little bit because I don't want to mess with this one. So we'll go to the state collection because I do know, oops, I do know that the state collection, I don't think has all its ballpark set up there is Aaron Reed. Who knows, he may benefit from these tutorials or not sure. So welcome in, Aaron, good to see you. So I'm going to poke around a couple of these ballparks. I was watching MV trying to figure out a lot of this stuff. Um, and I think it's really cool that he's doing it. Yeah, there we go. So we have, of course, that's Camden Yards, except for Maryland. But we can just show you guys how to do this. There, so Georgia does not have a ballpark set. So hopefully MV, when I was in his broadcast, I said it'd be about 2 minutes, and literally was 2 minutes. So um, we'll just hang on here and wait. So pretty good team here for Georgia, especially hitters. Man, you got Jackie Robinson and Ty Cobb. If you're a Mets fan, there's Ray Knight. There he is. Okay, now I can start the tutorials. Was really, really waiting for MV, but this is for anybody. So MV was working with ballparks and things like that. So I'm going to show you how to do a couple things. So I didn't want to mess with the KCCL because we're running that tournament in there. So I thought I'd bring up this the state league, right? The states league that was done for Action PC baseball. It's a subset of the baseball history collection. And just looking at these. So let's start with ballparks. Okay. So it's really a two-step process with ballparks. But before that, let me just repeat a couple things, or at least one thing that's really important. For Out of the Park 24, the stadium mod is up. Tested it earlier, and I'll show to you guys before we quit. I installed 1908 as the season, and the guys wearing the high socks, the uniforms look great. There's better texturing on the fields, but we'll show you that. I think for those of you that don't have Out of the Park 24, you're really, really missing a lot. And I also know that we're probably going to be just a few of us here as everybody else is off doing the modern baseball with RGL Network, and there's no problem with that. All right, so the first thing you're going to see that there's nothing here for Georgia, so we need to get a ballpark in here for Georgia. Now, one thing that I noticed in the Discord is that Aaron was sort of confused. It was cleared up. So this will be for anybody watching later. You're confused because you think you have to have the team match up with the park. You don't. And I can show you that in a 1960s league that I set up. It really doesn't matter. The park is just whatever you want to choose. All right, so the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to go to Modify Team. All right, so here we are, and right now we're just going to work with ballparks. Okay, so you can select, a base year for a team, and that's everything from 1876, and you can go forward to the year 2025 if you want. All right, so let's say just for Georgia, let's just pick, I guess, what would be the obvious, good old Turner Field. So we're going to do Turner Field, and let's set it back to, I don't know, 1995. So do 1995. So what we want to do first is we want to assign the team to Turner Field. Okay, so then we get a little call out box. Just click OK. And then we want to assign the team to the year 1995. Now, it's all done. Now, here's the thing that's really, really important. Do not ever, ever, ever do this. Do not ever assign players to a year, nor would you want to put set above park as players real life park. The only time I would say that you should do this is if you're doing a season replay. Then you can do that. Otherwise, just pretend these two boxes do not exist. Now, your base league here, we want to set to, we'll set it for National League since we're pretending this is a sort of Braves team. Before we finish with the ballpark, this part of the ballpark, team font. So team font is nice, but use it carefully. Okay, so any fonts, and I have tons more fonts than this, but you can pick a font. So let's say that you want to do, you're doing maybe some old-timey league and you want something to look kind of cool. All right, so what we could do is let's go to, I know Copper Plate is a nice one. Let's see if I can find Copper Plate on here, and I'll show you what it does. It's really cool. This is a new feature in Action PC 2023. So if I go to Copper Plate Gothic, okay, and maybe let's just leave it at 8 and we'll see what happens. I think it's be a little small. Let's go to 12. And if we want, we can bold it. And if we click OK, look at the printing now in Georgia. It's changed. And the only thing I would say that you have to be careful with this is also the labeling is going to be on the field. So I would say just be picky about the font that you choose. But that is how you do it. In fact, if I click OK, there, look, see? You got this really, really nice, sort of font for these players, including right down to the player level. So it looks nice. All right, but now now you can see it's already assigned Turner Field down here, okay? But we're not done. We are absolutely not done. So it's assigned to Turner Field. We see here, of course, that we have, remember there was no image here, so now we have Turner Field. We click OK, but we're not done yet. Now what we want to do is go up to ballparks. And the first thing we want to do is go to park data. We go to park data. Here's a little quick tip for you so you don't have to scroll through all this crazy stuff. Click in the box that you want. So right here I'm just clicking in here, doesn't matter. And then if I just type the letter T, it takes me down to the T's, and then I go to Turner Field. All right, now it's already showing Turner Field, but if I click in this box and click T, if I have other images of Turner Field, I can change them up. All right, so we do have just a couple. I'm not a big Braves fan, but we can see there's Turner at night, and there's Turner JPEG. Okay, and I'm going to download more. I mean, you can never have enough ballparks. So let's say that I want Turner JPEG to be the daytime, then I want Turner night. Okay, so let's leave this a Turner JPEG, or Turner, right, this one, and I'm going to assign this as day photo. Then the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Turner night, and I'm going to select it as the night photo. So there we go. So now we have a day and a night version of Turner Field. And if I want an alternate, then maybe what I want to do is maybe I could pick Turner Field, this one, this sort of the Gary Grigsby one, set as an alternative. So when you go into a game, like say you're playing an exhibition game or whatever, or you're playing just a regular game, but you feel like changing the ballparks, you have three choices. All right, so that's how you do that part. Then we have one more step. Now, we were talking about how you're setting these ballpark factors. Okay, so I picked 1995 just because I know the Braves had a good year. But watch these numbers right here. Watch when I click this. See how these numbers are changing, right? I don't know that I want to go up to 2, right? But this is setting for ballpark factors. There, look at 2012. It's a -3. But if I go to 2011, see? So this is how you're normalizing to year. Okay, there's 2004, but we're going to just set it back to 1995. I'm not sure what park data is available, but everything is looking pretty neutral. All right, we're done there. So now we're going to click Save, and now we're going to do ballpark layouts. So we go to Park Layouts, and again, we're going to click here, type T, and we're going to start looking for Turner. All you have to do really is just remember, especially if you have a lot, look at all these Tigers stadiums. So you really just remember the JPEG that you picked. All right, so here's one of them. Now you can see everything is a bloody mess. So here's another trick to make things easier. Pull this up, and down here, even though it doesn't show you, you can expand this. Now you get a nice big view of the ballpark. All right? So MV is with me so far. Good, good, good. Still a bit of work, but this is a nice little tip here that I just showed MV, and I've shown this in tutorials way in the past. So you're seeing all the grandstand stuff. Now, with MV just getting back in baseball, wasn't sure, and I would think the same thing. The grandstands would be these things back here, or perhaps you could think of grandstands up here. These are normally bleachers, but anything covered in a baseball field are considered grandstands and something down closer. So what you want to do is go down and click on Reset Labels. Now watch this grandstand, first base, right field, catcher, right? Watch what happens when I do this. And I'm going to do that. And now, guess what? My grandstands are automatically set up. That is really nice. And you can see everything here is pretty well lined up. And what this basically does is it tells Action PC Baseball, okay, where a ball flight's going to go. That's basically what it does. Thankfully, Out of the Park Baseball does this a little more elegantly, and you don't, because it's a mess. And I would say also Pure Sim's even harder. So yeah, the automatic grandstand stuff's nice. Now basically all you're doing, use the field as your guide. This is the way I usually set up. I put the bases right where they should be. Now there's a little bit of a grid. It's not like a grid snap, so just get as close as you want. Right? So first base should be about there. Third base should be, let's move it up there a little bit. And then what I like to do is I like to get the middle infielders, right, up here in the little keystone. Get them up, get your shortstop back. You might want to play him a little deeper. Really doesn't matter. The ball's going to go there. This is more, a lot of this is just aesthetics. Okay, pitcher, usually going to have a guide right at the top of the mound, right in the center. He's the center of the action, right? Just move him around. What I would suggest is when you're setting up ballparks, put on some good music. Because it's very, very zen. Okay. Now we look around our ballparks, there's still some problems. Our right fielder's playing right on the line. Let's drag him over. Let's bring our left fielder over. We can play him as deep or shallow as we want. But if you think about scale, this is probably right. That left fielder might be a little shallow. There. Third base, what I like to do is sort of just play him up the line a little bit. All right, so remember the red labels are your defense, the white labels are your bases. Okay, so now we have a pretty nice looking infield here. Let's get our right-handed batter up here and our lefty over here. This is sometimes the pain in the butt, pain in the arse, whatever you want to call it, to get them lined up right. Again, I think it's not that important. Get them as close as you can. All right. Unfortunately, there's no way to really do any fine control with this because there's a grid in the background. I mean, I could try moving this down a little bit. Again, but I don't worry about this too much. And actually, when you're broadcasting, you really, or when you're doing, even when you're playing a game, get them close. There we go. Now I got them nice. All right, next thing, I just want to reach back here, grab my catcher, pull him. Let's pull him up there. Now, on deck road, on deck home. So it used to be in baseball a long, long time ago. Um, yeah, very bad luck yesterday for us. The Buccos out to a 6-3 start, and O'Neill Cruz is out for 4 months. Had to have some surgery at Allegheny General. But you know what? I'm proud. The Pirates had a good fast start. O'Neill Cruz definitely a big hole in the lineup, but we got some good guys there. Carlos Santana, Brian Reynolds is ripping it up. So yeah, again, it's I thank you for that big clue. Now you see our grandstand third base here. If you want, you can move it back. That reset labels, but basically, all the program's going to do is look at ball flight, and it's just going to file it there into foul territory. But there, again, reset labels is huge. You never need reset scoreboard. All right, now the last thing we're going to do to have this park ready, look at the problem with left field and right field. These guys are in foul territory. We don't want that. So the plus is the top of the wall, all right? And you don't have to be terribly accurate with this. And then just put this down. I usually put this down like maybe right in front of the warning track so I can just see like the edge of the, I like this corner when I can to touch the warning track. Okay, we can move left center up. I like to try to keep them close. All right, and then I'll move the bottom center field fence just a bit. That's good. Right center looks okay. And then we're just going to pick right field. And again, you have the guides right here, really. Just follow the fence. It doesn't have to be exact perfect. And again, this is just my way of doing it. Your mileage, YMMV, your mileage may vary. This ballpark's ready to go. This is playable. Click save, and that's it. So if we were to fire up a game right now with using this Georgia State team, that park would be ready to go. Boom. So there's Georgia. And then, of course, the other thing, logos are super easy. Not going to worry about logos. KMV has a question. And again, for Out of the Park 24 players, the Stadium mod is now available on Steam, and it looks incredible. Yeah, it is a power couple. Okay, what if you want to get the best from Lou Gehrig? That's funny. So there's two different schools of thought with that, MV. So of course there's the thing called platooning. All right. Um, so I have a very mixed sort of attitude about that. What we could, yeah, right, Gary couldn't care. So here's the thing with platooning, MV, and you know what? Other baseball fans are going to tell you differently, but I look at it this way. You've got a guy, you've got Lou Gehrig up there, all right? And they're going to bring a right-handed pitcher. Are you really going to platoon somebody like Lou Gehrig? I would say absolutely not. I'm not going to pinch hit for Lou Gehrig unless he's tired. Maybe he's on a bad, maybe he's in a slump. So some players, I mean, transcended platooning. And again, Lou Gehrig was one of the all-time greats. I'm not going to platoon for George Sisler. Other players would tell you platoon all the time. But a lot, John McGraw didn't platoon. Connie Mack. I mean, with your great players, decent players, how do you get the best out of Lou Gehrig? You do know, MV, that you can go to manage your tendencies down to the player level. Um, use the what if. The what if is a nice tool. The other one that's really really cool that I think that's really fun is your pitcher versus batter matchup analysis. So if you really want to get granular, so we're going to pick a visiting team here. Alabama, don't know who's on the team, and we're going to pick. We'll be messing around with Georgia, so we'll pick Georgia. Actually, let's pick New York because Lou Gehrig is on the New York team. I do know that. Okay, so there's Gehrig. Now we want to know how is Gehrig going to bat against some of these Alabama players. So how is he going to bat? Let's say against Virgil Trucks. So all I have to do up in the New York lineup is say batting versus, and I just go down here and I find Virgil Trucks. Now, if I look at Lou Gehrig here, I see that against Virgil Trucks. Now, what's important to remember is that this player batter matchup report works differently in a game. And this note will remind you when viewing outside of a game or prior to the start of a game analysis, prior to the start of a game, there should be a comma, Dave. Analysis does not include, which incute, so Dave, a little typo there, base situation, outs, or fielding. This is nice for looking at your rosters. So let's look at Gehrig here. So against Virgil Trucks, Lou Gehrig, all things being equal, has a 28.6% chance of getting a hit off Virgil Trucks, a 6% chance for a double, 0.8% chance for a triple, a 4.7% chance for a home run. Okay, he's going to walk 13% of the time, and he's going to strike out. Now, watch though if I change this to Satch Page. Now Gehrig's numbers actually increase a little bit against Satch. Perhaps let's look at Clay Carroll. Okay, so again, we're just looking at Gehrig. Look how much now he's at 30.2, so he has a better chance of getting a hit against Clay Carroll, for instance, than he does against Virgil Trucks. And this has nothing to do with platooning at all. Okay, so and you can do that. Now the same thing. Do you want to see how your pitchers are going to do? So let's see how is Sandy Koufax, a lefty, right? How is he going to do against, say, well, let's go over here. Let's say pitching. Let's pitch. So pitching versus Lou Gehrig. Now we can see here a nice view. We can see Georgia or Alabama. I guess this is Alabama's entire pitching staff. How they're going to pitch against Lou Gehrig. Okay. Well, looking at this, right? Gary's going to have the roughest time, all things being equal, at least getting and not really rough time at all, but a 23.2% chance of getting a hit off of Bob Veal, all things being equal. But if we look up here, and let's go up now. Here's a lefty, right? So Key, even though Key's a lefty, his Gehrig is going to probably see him better. He has a 26.9% chance of getting a hit off of him. Okay. How are these guys going to do against the other team? So maybe it might be against George Foster, and you can see. This is brilliant. Now, the what if that you're talking about, that's where you're taking a player and putting him in a ballpark assigned to a year to see how he was done. Is it possible to have your team versus the league? Um, you mean in a similar analysis tool like this? I'm not aware of that. It may be. I'm not aware of that. This is so very, very, very new, and it's something that I suggest that you do. Um, just to get into. Look at it. Let's look at Hank Aaron, for instance. How is Hank Aaron gonna do against Sandy Koufax? Well, let's look. So Hank Aaron, you can see here, 24.6% chance to get a hit off of Sandy Koufax, all being equal. But look, Tommy Agee against Koufax, not so much. Um, Neither are the Sewells. But if I switch from Koufax to Cy Seymour, and what this is doing is it's looking at all the stats, everything like that. Now in game. Oh, you're welcome, Big Clue. So in game, when you're picking, let's say you're looking for relief pitcher, pinch hitter, pinch runner, in game, you will see this. But what's nice about it is I should probably go into a game and show you, but it kind of makes sense just describing it. So let's say that you want to pinch hit for Heine Groh. Um, and what you can do is you can look at Groh and you can click on each of the available pitchers of the other team to see how Groh would do against any possible reliever that the other team may throw at you. So some people who play Sims say, well, that's kind of cheating. Well, not really, because real life managers going all the way back to the beginning, they had scouting reports. They didn't maybe have it nice and digital, right? But it was partially gut managing, but it was also, well, this guy is hitting pretty well against Carl Hubble. I think I'm going to send him up against Hubble. But you have to remember, MV, this is really important, and I think Big Clue um, and Big Clue I think will back this up. Don't get stuck strictly by the numbers, right? You also have to look at how your player is performing, because remember, this is all things being equal when you're looking at this. So this is assuming, for instance, that none of the hitters on this Alabama team, like Tommy Agee, Hank Aaron, Willie McCovey, Willie Mays, that none of these guys are in a batting slump. Okay, but as the season's tracking along, even if you're playing a quote unquote as played, because I'm guessing alternate reality got shut down, this is still not going to play out exactly at a granular level the way the season played out. So there is still some unpredictability. And when you put the human factor into it as well, which I think a lot of cards and dice simmers forget, even when they're managing, I'll watch our JL Network, Robert, and he'll say, well, to be fair, I need to make this decision or whatever. Um, don't get stuck just on the numbers. Just because somebody has a very high WAR or a very high WHIP, in baseball, in any situation, what makes it different, MV, if this helps you, um, compare to the other three team sports in America, for instance. Baseball is situational with each and every pitch. Yep. So Big Clue saying quite right. I lost count of how many sims I run where player X is benched half the season, for example. The random injuries also make small sample sizes unreliable. Exactly. Exactly. So if you have a guy that's in a slump, But you're going by these numbers. These numbers are saying, well, all things being equal, right? And even in game, it will say, okay, with two on and two out, you know, Joe Gordon here, right? Gordon has a 24.3% chance of getting a hit. However, Gordon might be in a 7 game hitting slump. He's just in a slump. So that's where you also have to know your players. We'll get to how you get your lineup to stick. Exactly. And yes, sir, you may have a guy who isn't the best, who is the best in that situation. Happens all the time. So I'll use hockey for an example, or any of the other three sports. Again, MV. So and I'm not picking on MV, guys. This is something he kind of asked me to sort of come on, and I said, yeah, I'll do a tutorial because he was asking me a lot of questions and we had that delay. So the number one thing to remember about baseball MV is you don't have a free substitution rule. You don't have a free substitution rule. So in basketball, for instance, they could always go to Michael Jordan, right? And in hockey, right? They could always go to, Wayne Gretzky or Mario Lemieux or what have you, okay? And then F ball, same thing. In baseball, you cannot do that, right? Once you pinch hit, once you pinch run, once you put in a relief pitcher, whatever, that's it. That other guy is out for the rest of that game. Um, that's just it. So roster management in baseball, I think, is is even more of a marriage of art and science. So using the numbers, but also understanding, and why I hate the DH is because it's taken out, in my opinion, an integral part of of baseball strategy. Do I want to let my pitcher bat? I've got speed on the base paths. Do I want to try to move these guys up on a sacrifice, or do I want to bring in a power hitter? My guy's been pitching a good game. With the DH, you don't have that decision, but you still have other decisions, right? If I bring in this guy, maybe he's been playing great defense and maybe he saved you some runs, but he's not doing so well at the plate. Well, unlike the other three lesser sports, you can't go back to that guy. Once he's out of the lineup, he's out. So it's getting to know your players. And even in this because this is such an accurate engine, you can get to know your players. So roster management in the net, give you my lineup rotation, it's stuck, allowing for the rest. In midseason, I changed it and it's stuck too more or less, yet I can't seem to do it. We can do that. There's a couple of different ways to do it. Now, Steve Tate should probably do another one of these too, and actually I would direct you to some of Steve's tutorials, and I think he would be persuaded also to do that. So let's pick. We'll pick New York because New York's going to have, and Pennsylvania, whatever. We'll pick a good team. We'll pick New York. All right, we've got all kinds of great players here. So and we can, I'm not, and I get it. I get it. Big Clue. I mean, I do get Bill James' argument, uh, but I also think that there is, at least for me, and of course it could be National League bias too. I don't know, but you're a National Leaguer as well. I mean, your team is the Reds, my team are the Pirates. I'm not so sure. I really like Bill James a lot. I'm not sure that I completely agree with that though. But that being said, hey, um, PQ Rivers says somehow I'm realizing I need to buy this game. So MV, we'll take things in order because I know you're excited about this. You're getting a lot of questions, which is really really good. Let's go to manager, okay? And first we're going to go to manager preferences. Okay. So this is huge, right? And we're not even at the player level yet. So all this pitcher setting stuff that you're seeing here, okay? Like you can set up your GM roster preferences, how many starting pitchers you want, catchers, and all that kind of stuff. Your player usage preference. Are you going to do this by real life usage or player quality? Well, that's going to depend. That's going to inform a lot on how a player is going to be played. Okay, but this I don't think I have to get into too much. But by studying your rosters, this is about what do you want your team generally to do. And if you remember in the Ned McGreevy League, a lot of guys for steal second hit very often or very often exclamation point, which means they're going to run almost all the time. But that was a league, right, when baseball was about small ball and about speed. And so it made sense to say to play this. But if you're playing second and you're playing 1950s baseball, then you probably just want to do sometimes. If you're playing 1970s baseball, maybe you want to go to often. But this is all kind of pretty much right. So you could do computer generate preferences, and it's really going to default to this. But what I want to show you, you're talking about getting the best out of Gehrig. All right. Well, let's do that. Let's find the Iron Horse. Where are you, Lou? I know you're in here because you're from New York. There he is. Okay. So if we go to Manager, now you can decide how you want to lose. If, do you want to limit his batting versus lefty versus righty? Well, I'm not going to limit Lou Gehrig in any way. I am not going to pull him for a pinch runner. Lou Gehrig was known to steal home. He was a very aggressive base runner. I'm not going to pull him for a pinch hitter, or rather have the AI do it. I'm not going to allow. Would I use him as a pinch runner? Probably not. He's not George Sisler, since we're comparing first baseman. I'm not going to pull him for a late. But you could change all this up if you want. You could generate computer usage. All right. He wasn't a pitcher, so he's not going to get in there to pitch. But you can do this for every one of your players. We go to Yaz. Now see there. See how it changed up between Yastrzemski. Now A-Rod can be used as a pinch runner and never pull for a pinch hitter. So you can get to that level. You don't want Cy Young to play. All right. I'm not in that, but I mean, if you wanted somebody to not play, if you go back to manager, what you can do is change his. Let's find a pitcher. Let's get a pitcher up here, and I'll show you one way to do it. Although you'd be a fool to do this, we'll bring up Wade Hoyt or Wadey Ford. Let's bring up the chairman of the board. And if I go to manager, right, I can set Wadey Ford's target at bats or target innings. I can set them lower. All right. I can also set things in here like don't pitch as a starter. All I have to do is click this right here, and he's not going to start. He's not. And if I let's pretend that Wadey Ford is Cy Young. All right. Don't pitch. Right. You can just click don't pitch, and Cy Young won't be used. Um, that's one way to do it. Okay. Go into this level, and I saw Cy Young got hammered today. I saw that. Okay. The other thing that you can do is this, MV. This is simple. Okay. If you're watching MV, I have right-clicked. Let me show you again. I'm going to right-click on Whitey Ford, and I'm going to see where it says active inactive. Deactivate Whitey Ford. That's it. Whitey Ford he won't pitch. Do you want to deactivate Cy Young? He will not pitch in any situation. I got to go off mic for a few minutes, guys. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So, right. Well, yeah. So he's not. He's inactive now. So I've made Whitey Ford inactive, and I have proof that you don't even have to double check with Steve. We did a exhibition game on this channel a few weeks ago, and it started Hank Aaron at catcher, and I'm like, what the hell? And when I looked, I noticed that the catchers on whatever league that was I was messing with were all inactive. The computer manager will not touch an inactive player. So that's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. And yes, that was my girlfriend on the phone just saying goodnight to her. So, but I'm back because she's better looking than you guys. Anyhow, that's the easiest way to do it, MV. Just right click, activate, and inactivate. So I'm going to go ahead and activate Whitey Ford back on this team again. You can activate, deactivate any player you want. That's the faster way to do it. What I would say is this, though, and I'm with you. I think, and this is going to be a sin. Cy Young won 511 games, but you compare his black ink to Walter Johnson, and there's no comparison. Um, and even though my team needs pitching, I wouldn't trade for Cy Young at all. Cy Young's never done well for me in games. I think if you wanted a good use for Cy Young, which I found is good for him, use him for long relief. Let's say you're getting, you need some guy to pitch some innings. Cy Young is excellent for that. He's never worked for me well as a starting pitcher anyhow. I'll take Walter Johnson any day over Cy Young. In fact, I'll take. Oh my God, I take Whitey Ford, and I think Whitey Ford, while was a superb pitcher, I don't think Whitey Ford is Walter Johnson or Rube Waddell or Christy Mathewson. He had some powerful, powerful Yankee teams. But just do that. Right click and then active inactive. You can do that. It's the best way to do it because you might need him. So um, there. So that's what I would suggest that you do. As far as getting the best out of your players, get to know them, track them. Joe Morgan is tearing it up for you. Other thing you can do, MV, put Gehrig in different parts of the lineup. Right? You're gonna find that sweet spot for your players. You're gonna find that sweet spot for your players, for your pitchers. When you're setting up your rotation, all right, you can see that these are already preset. Um, but you know, this is where the art of it comes in. Maybe you're 2 months into the season, you're like, well, and again, I'm just using this example to say, geez, Jim Palmer, he's too concerned right now about his underwear commercials. Maybe I want to put Cy Seymour somewhere in there and move Palmer down as my fourth starter. Use this thing. You've got an infinite baseball playground here. Do it. And again, you can look at your lineups and see how people are doing. The what if. The what if I think is a great tool just because you can just get lost in it if you want. Um, so we get down to what if, right? And I don't know what's. Let's see. Who do we want to do here? What do we want to do here? Let me see. Teams, all teams. Let's just say Midwest. View batters. Let's refresh. Now I'm seeing all the batters um, for the Midwest division, which is right over here. Right? So I could look at, say, Willie Davis, right? And then what if? I could look at all these batters, right? And I can say, how would Willie Davis bat, right? AT&T Park um, in 2018, and I can refresh, right? And I can see, for instance, there you go, like Brooks Robinson, all these guys, right? So it's cool. Maybe I just want to take, I just want to look at free agents. You can always, just switch all this up around and just hit refresh. A couple things about Action PC Baseball, just to set you straight on the record, is some things you have to hit refresh on, some things you don't. I can look back at these numbers. Let's go back. I don't know when AT&T Park was built, but maybe 2013. And I can refresh it, and the numbers are going to change up, and you can look all the way through here and see how people are going to do in that park. So you could use the what if tool and just go from there if you want. All right, change their minimum batting um, and what have you. I'm going to exit this, and another thing that we're going to do here is show you how to work with leagues. So let's say you bring up a league. I'm trying to find one here that I haven't done anything. Let's say 1970. Let's see if everything. No, okay, nothing is set to 0. Good, good, good. So I want to start replaying this league. Okay. Or I want to start. Maybe I want to do a 1970 replay, which don't hold your breath. I'm not going to. So first thing I want to do here then is I want to go to Tools. And this is what you're going to deal with when you're doing with leagues. Okay. So before we do this, let's see if there's anybody listed here as active, inactive. Let's go to batters. Looks like everybody is, but let's just make a couple people inactive. Why would I want to do that? I don't know. But let's go ahead and we're going to deactivate the Boomer Scott, and we're going to deactivate Billy Canigliaro, for instance. Okay. So I have 2 players inactive now on Boston, so I just click OK. Right? I go back to this roster. These guys are inactive. They're not going to play. And no matter what lineup I pick, Billy Canigliaro and George the Boomer Scott, or not, yeah, Billy Canigliaro. Let's take Tony as well, so that we have none of them. Okay, so we're gonna deactivate Tony Canigliaro. If I go to lineup, now if you look here, Tony Canigliaro has 36 home runs. Look, no Canigliaro. Doesn't matter how many times I do it, Tony Canigliaro is not going to come up. However, if I activate him, there he is. So there you go. Now he's all over the place. But let's deactivate him again. All right. For some of the files and seasons that you get with Dave Cook Sports, you might get whatever. You're not going to realize this, and you're going to have players that are inactive. Well, I want to activate those guys. Well, I could go through all of these teams if I wanted to, but why would I want to? Go to Tools. All right, set all players active, and then I can set them all available, and then just execute availability tools. When I do this, and I go back to Boston, look, everybody's active now. So the inactives beside the 2 Canigliaros and George Scott are gone. How do you get the lineups to stick? So you can load a lineup versus left, and it's already saved. But let's say I wanted to bring in Luis Alvarado. I don't know why I'd want to do that, but let's say I'd want to bring in Luis Alvarado. Oh, he was already in there, so let's put in somebody else here. Who's my other third baseman? And again, guys, remember you can sort here by position. Maybe I want to bring in John Kennedy. If I bring in John Kennedy, I can bring him in and then save this lineup as 1v left, and then Kennedy will come up. Alvarado will come up. But that also is working in conjunction, you got to remember, with usage and stuff like that. So there's a lot of, there you can see. So you really, really, really have to work with a number of different screens to do this. And Steve Tate can take you even deeper into this than I really can. But this one, right? If I change this up, notice now there's no saved lineups. So let's go to first versus left just for giggles. Okay, so first versus left. All right, now just for now, I'm going to put in John Kennedy at third, and I'm going to replace Alvarado, and I'm going to save this as second versus left. Save displayed lineup. It's gone. Okay, yeah, I'm going to save it anyway because I don't have a pitcher in there. Okay, so now if I go to second versus left, or I go back to first versus left, let's go back to first versus left. There's Alvarado. Now watch, if I go to second versus left, there's John Kennedy. You're a funny guy. Yeah, at 256. I'll tell you what, though, better stick than Luis Alvarado, but only in 43 games. So, yeah, you definitely. But Alvarado, actually, if you look at these 1970 Red Sox, look at how many third basemen they were playing here. Alvarado, Schofield, John Kennedy. In fact, if you look at these guys here, I mean, they're right. Nobody play. Well, there's George Scott, right? But Scott's only rated a 5. So George Scott was definitely in there, 16 home runs, high average hitter, 296. But look where George Scott is a 5, so he's an average third baseman. So maybe in later innings you're going to bring in a guy like Kennedy for his defense. Certainly not for his stick, and certainly not for his power. So it's an art. It's an art and it's a science. As far as resetting league statistics to 0, if you want that, you can do that. When you start playing, it's still going to keep these real stats all the time. You can set these all, but as soon as I would start playing an exhibit or a scheduled game, for instance, that's going to clear out all those wins losses. But we actually simmed out 1970, if you guys remember, because um, we were testing the. I'm sorry, guys, I'm a little tired. We were testing the alternate reality thing. Okay. There's the 10-minute ticker, which and all that kind of stuff. So, but I could reset this entire league if I want. And if I wanted to redo this, again, let's go back up to tools, and we're going to set league records to 0 and set all time records to 0, begin reset. And I'm sure reset complete. And this is actually ready to replay. This is actually ready to replay. All this is just going to keep all of these whatever. But if I go back to, come here, back to April, I can just start the season and play. All right. Let's go out of this. Let's go back to tools. Set all player inactive. This is what I like to do. All statistics is 0. Delete injuries. All players active. I'd never do preseason injuries. You could. Set all players to original active, inactive status. If you're a stickler for season replays, I know this isn't for our Howie Shanks league, but I might as well just show you, what all these do. Pitcher rest. You can set when your pitchers rest, so you can get deep into this game. And let's do this. Let's do this. And don't touch this unless you want to make a draft league, by the way. Now everything is going away and you're going to see this ready to completely rock. Okay, yes, I'm sure. Okay, this reset is complete and Now it is pristine the way that it was. If I hit play, there we go. Notice no scores. This thing is ready to replay infinitely. If you want to play 1970 10,000 times, you can do it. Um, Once again, doesn't matter what league you're doing. This batter versus pitcher matchup analysis is there. Um, you could do teams, do team reports, MV. So here we're looking at Atlanta, and we can look at you can look at everything on your roster by going to team reports. Maybe you want to look at splits, left and right? If you want to just go as deep as you want, right? So let's go view print. There you go. Now you're getting, it's a bit messy, but you're getting splits, you're getting all this kind of stuff. See? So Hank Aaron, his average versus left, on base versus left, versus on right. So Hank Aaron seems like he did better against righties than lefties. So um, there is that argument for platooning. Although I don't think Hank Aaron was platooned much for. So I think that's the art of it. Oh, that big clue. Oh my God, yeah, huh? Get lost this game for hours and hours. Guys, if you think about it, I mean, you basically have and so big clue, everybody, right? You guys remember the huge, and I still love them, the behemoth baseball books. But you couldn't do, I mean, certainly you can do this stuff in baseball reference. You can do a lot, obviously, and StatHead and all that. But you basically have the encyclopedia on PEDs. Might as well say it. It is a great encyclopedia. Yes, it does look 1,000 times better than Strat reports, doesn't it? It really does. So the fact that you got splits, and it's really, really, really nice. Um, I can look at the Pittsburgh Pirates. So of course I can see their schedule, and if there are any games played, I can look at box scores from here. But again, maybe I just want to just do batting, and that's all I want to do. That's all I want to do. View print, and there it is. And you're going to get basic stats, including some that really probably don't mean a lot anymore, like total bases. And then right down here, this little guy right here, this is your team totals and all that kind of stuff. So I can see here if I kind of try to follow this, the Bucks hit what 130 home runs, they hit 70 triples in 1970. You can get as deep as you want. I can maybe just go. I can just view the roster. There it is. So, but let's exit this. Go back to reports, players. So you can go to the database, and if we go there, you can search for anybody that you're looking at, or anybody that you click on here. You can just look at whatever. And yes, you can get lost for hours. So what do I want to see? Maybe I want to see, you know, any switch hitters on this team. Yeah, Bob Didier. So there's one switchy for Atlanta in 1970. I just want to look at lefties. There are my lefties. There are my righties. And then, of course, everybody. Maybe I just want to look at third baseman. What I would say, MV, is you can't break anything in this game. Just play. Just play. Have fun with it. Down here, don't forget these things. Maybe you want to do expanded batting. Now you're getting OPS, you're getting some of these additional stats. Okay. But you can even go deeper if you want. Goes deep. You can see here, look, you got batting plus. All right. So it's just going to give you average plus, on base percentage plus, slugging average plus, OPS plus. I'm going to exit this. So I hope this little tutorial helped. The reports are insane in this game. I mean, look, you go down like to games. You can look at game recaps. We can't do them now because I've reset this league. But you can go to league standings by date, home and road records by month, team versus team chart. You can go to All Stars, both leagues, League One, League Two, records, league records, maybe individual batting. But again, we haven't played any games yet, so it's not going to do that. But the pitcher batter analysis will work. However, as the season progresses, those percentages will change as well. So I think it's a powerful tool for setting lineups. You want to maximize, right? Maximize what you're doing. Where's your best speed? You know, um, your power hitters, right? The heart of your order, 3, 4, and 5. Um, and I think MV a good one for beginners to learn how to do lineups are the 1927 Yankees. Because you would think, okay, let's bat Babe Ruth and cleanup. Babe Ruth batted third. Lou Gehrig was the cleanup hitter for the New York Yankees, and there's reasons for that. There's good reasons why Miller Huggins batted Gehrig fourth and not Ruth. And study those lineups. Look at their stats. So you had a team that pretty much kicked the living crap out of people. And while they're brilliant talent, I think that the great teams like that, another one would be the 1975 Reds. You want Who do you want to club? Lou Gehrig to hit 70 home runs? That's probably not gonna happen. Probably not. Now maybe in the alternate universe thing it could. Gehrig could hit 50. Gehrig could hit 50. Big Clue says alternatively, you could draft an all-world rotation and you don't have to worry about all this managing stuff like Steve Tate. Yeah. So you're a big Joe Morgan fan, big or MV. So look at the 1975 Reds. You can find lineups for any team in history. Go to Baseball Reference, whatever. Look at those lineups and look at the player stats. Go on Baseball Almanac. Well, he's not performing in his stats in the Howie Shanks League. Let's go back to Bonds for a second. Because Bond's stats and right are going to be based on, say, 1992 with the Pirates or 2002 with the Giants. So, but Bonds wasn't facing some of the pitchers that he's facing in the Howie Shanks League. So while it's going to normalize, if that's what we're going to do, right between pitcher and batter, I don't know what Stephen Big Clue decided for this. Just because Barry Bonds hit 70 home runs, what year was that? 1997, 98? I can't remember. Whatever year he and Sammy Sosa broke Maris's single season record. That doesn't mean in the Howie Shanks League that he's going to. Or, we saw in the Ned McGreevy League how things sort of played out there. So that's why the addition of this batter versus pitcher analysis, I think, is huge. And because we're playing players from throughout baseball history. 2001, 70 home runs. 2002, a 370 batting average. But again, is he, is he going to do that in the league? But now, okay, so I'm talking about the Reds. So you look at the 1975 Reds, which I probably don't have this. In fact, I know I don't have 1975 in here because, yeah, not set up. We don't need set up because that one's just played to death. I've seen so many people do 1975, and it's a great baseball season, but geez. Let's take 1972, though. Reds were pretty damn good in 1972. There we are, Cincinnati. And there, oh, hey, this is nice. Look at this, inactive players. Because I switched seasons, so I want to reactivate these guys before I do this. But you could even have the computer generate a lineup. Yeah, play your home at Coors Field. Play them in a small park like Baker Bowl if you want. Yeah, and Bonds never had to face prime Koufax, prime Bob Gibson, which remember, MV, he's going to in the Howie Shanks League, and I don't care what other guys that argument we got into a few weeks ago, which was absolutely ludicrous. Sandy Koufax is one of the greatest of all time, and Bob Gibson, holy moly. Let's activate Bill Plummer here. All right, and let's do a little bit of whoops. I want to activate you. Oh, and why is he not available? All right, just for giggles, let's do this. I'm not going to do anything with this season, but it'll serve as a nice review. Okay, we're going to set active. Boom. And we're going to do availability. Now let's see if we've cleared out Cincinnati. There. Let's do a computer lineup. We're just going to let the computer generate a lineup. So there's Joe Morgan. All right, he's leading off. You got Pete Rose, Tony Perez, Johnny Bench, Cesar Geronimo, Bobby Tolan, Dennis Menke. Is it Dennis Menke? Yeah. And Dave Concepcion. So look at each of the players in a lineup, MV. I mean, you have, like me, like Steve, like Big Clue, you've got every damn thing for this game. So maybe go through and mess around. Maybe get out of the Howie Shanks League a little bit and take some time with this. And why is Joe Morgan leading off? Why is that? Well, let's look. All right. So we got to go back here. Why is Joe Morgan leading off? Well, we can look here. Start with ratings, because these ratings are supplied by the game. They're generated from the stats, but that's for sort of our use. Well, look at this. So he's a spray hitter. Combine that with Joe Morgan's stats. Okay. So he has a 292 batting average, right? So 29% of the time, almost 30% of the time, Joe Morgan's going to get on. All right. So base run and stolen base jump, two different things to understand. So base running takes into account when that goes into play. Joe Morgan, if he's on first on a base hit, could make it to third. His stolen base jump, this is when you're going to decide, okay, base stealer. Well, this guy is not only going to tear around the bases, but Joe Morgan was a hell of a base stealer. All right, now let's contrast him with Johnny Bench, who's your cleanup hitter. Okay, let's go to Johnny Bench so that we can understand. Now look what happens with Johnny Bench. When you see pull hitter usually signifies power. So Bench is almost going to be swatting to the left side. But look down here as a base runner. Bench is average, and you're not wanting Bench as a leadoff hitter because look at his stolen base numbers. It's just a 2. He's not a good sacrifice bunter. He's not good at bunting for hitting. But look at his power. Now we go back to and look at Joe Morgan again. Okay, now his power goes down. So he's got an 8 against righties, 6 against lefties. And I think this is a fun way to learn how to do lineups. It's a really, really fun way to do lineups. Big Clue says because in the 1970s, managers wanted the top stolen base guy leading off. Rose is batting second, not just because of his batting average, because he was an excellent bunter and can help move Morgan into scoring position. Yep. Okay, here's the thing about Earl Weaver, and I mean Hall of Fame manager, I get it, but Earl Weaver's approach really was load him up and go for the grand slam, which if you've got the power, you can do it. On base percentage or OPS is really good, but don't. I would just say don't just stick to one stat, right? Don't stick to one stat. Don't stick to one sort of rating. But I guess it's getting to know these players, so you can see clearly why is Joe Morgan leading off. And yeah, let's look at Pete Rose. All right. So what do we have here for Pete Rose? Well, he's better at bunting for a hit. Look at that. He's got a 7 as a hit and run guy. Okay. So let's go back to your buddy Joe Morgan who's ripping it up. Hit and run, he's average. So you want a guy in your second spot to move your speedster around. I mean, if you're talking 1970s baseball. Herb Pilgrim, hey. He said he always had a little bit of Barry Bonds hitting leadoff for the Giants. Yeah, Jim Leyland tried that a little while with Bonds leading off. I remember Bonds, Lean, Van Slyke, Bonilla, LaValliere, Bream. I actually have that lineup from 1990, but as you saw later, Bonds batted down the lineup. And yeah, I did too. Hey, there's Todd B. Let's just get to know him. Now let's look at the bottom of our lineup here. Let's look at Dave Concepcion for a minute here, MV. All right, so let's look at Concepcion. All right, look, he's just barely above average as far as steals. He's a decent base runner. So I mean, you do want to have right because you're gonna have a pitcher, so you're gonna want to be able to somebody's gonna sacrifice. You're not gonna put your fastest guy in the 8th spot, but you got the pitcher coming up if you're playing without a DH. Well, you got to move this guy over, so you need somebody with some speed. So it's science, it's art. Um, but don't forget defense either. Obviously, you don't want to ever forget defense. So look at your guy in fielding, see where he's rated. And here he's rated an 8 at short. He can play out of position, but if you would play him at first base, and this is true of any player in Action PC baseball, and why I'm such a big fan of Hannes Wagner, he can play a ton of positions. If you play somebody out of position, the game has a penalty. Yeah, they did. We can look at that too. We can look at power. Let's look at their power numbers here. Okay, so you have Johnny Bench, 40 home runs, Tony Perez with 21. And what makes Joe Morgan dangerous is he had some pop, but there's a big difference between 16 home runs and 40 home runs. So you're not going to bat, for many reasons, you're not going to bat Joe Morgan. You're not going to bat him third. You're not going to bat him fourth. You're not going to bat him fifth. He's not that in that. Shouldn't be in that lineup. You could also just do it by Baseball Reference. You can see all kinds of lineups. The other thing, go to Baseball Almanac, which is a site that nobody ever talks about, but we're going to go to it. The only thing is, it's a bit of a pain in the ass because it's a nice. I don't think that it's at all related to Baseball Reference, but let's bring it up. Usually has a lot of stuff, but this has like all-star games. And you could look at the all-star games. And yes, I'm going to buy Luminar. Yes, yes, yes. So we go to the all-star game. And let's pick an all-star game here, just for shits and giggles. Something you guys will be all familiar with. Let's go to 1976, Veterans Stadium. And there's the lineups. Right there, you have the exact lineups. So what you could do, MV, for playing around, is Go to Baseball Almanac, and you have the exact batting order. So George Brett led off, then Rod Carew, and just go by the numbers. This gives you right for each. Or George Brett didn't lead off. I'm sorry. Ron LaFleur led off. Ron LaFleur was fast. This guy was fast. He was also an ex-con. Rod Carew. Why would you want Rod Carew? Well, you can look at Rod Carew, and we click on Rod Carew. Hopefully, this is not like Baseball Reference, but you could do this. Bring in all these guys from 1976. There's Rod Carew. Um, there we go. Get all his stats and everything, and we can see why Carew was put in that spot. So playing with all-star teams, another great way to for you to learn about lineups. Big clue says right there, um, Carew is an ideal number 2 hitter in the lineup. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that I like about Baseball Almanac, and I think it's a perfect companion to to Baseball Reference. And yeah, it doesn't have a query, unfortunately. You can go back, get out to year by year. It's fun. This is I didn't really mean this to be a thing for Baseball Almanac, but so few people. I don't see a lot of people really going to this, but I think it's brilliant. And this is something I wish Robbie would. I've suggested this to Robbie a number of times. Pick a year and study it. So he's doing like 1920 American League. So you get a nice little capsule, all the leaders and everything. And I think this does it nicely, except for the damn ads. And I don't know why my ad blocker isn't working on this site, but nonetheless. And just some fun facts. So that's another thing you could do. All I would say is don't get hung up on one number or another number. It's the big thing right now. Everybody, not everybody, but I mean, you hear so many people in the baseball community, whether it's simming community or what have you, talking about wins above replacement. So don't don't get stuck on just, oh well, geez, this player's WAR is less than this player's WAR, because wins above replacement has to do also with the team that that player played on. So Walter Johnson's WAR is going to be high anyhow because he was winning games for a team that had losing seasons. So hopefully that all helped. And this turned into a baseball lineup tutorial for some bizarre reason, as opposed to Action PC. So yeah, Todd B says MV, you have the biggest MLB sandbox in the world. Explore it. You have every season. That's what I do with this game. I know Big Clue and Steve Tate same way. You just get lost in this and getting to know what these numbers mean, and yeah, you can do it all. So I'm going to change this just quickly to something else because we're going to switch to a game that's not getting enough love. Um, out of yep, Ballpark mod is here? Question mark. We're going to switch to out of the park in a minute. Yep, delve, delve, delve. Right, win shares. Right, 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 right. You're welcome, MV. And MV, you're not a minor broadcaster on here. Please don't. I mean, it's flattering to think that calling Steve and me like, the big like ESPN whatever blah blah blah, Fox Sports. You are too. So it's not like you're just going to be calling games for teams like mine. They're going to be at the bottom or close to the middle or whatever. You know. Hope you're going to call some marquee games too. So, okay, one last thing, and then I'm going to jump off. That's it. because I just want to show it. I want to turn off. We're going to exit this. And we're going to look at Out of the Park Baseball 24. Because the stadium mod is here. Every ballpark from 1901 to now. And yes, of course, you can use them in Action PC, Digital Diamond, whatever. Or, why not play them in this game? Quick tutorial on how to do this. So in Steam, when you subscribe to something, it downloads things and it's ready to play. However, Out of the Park Baseball has another little thing. So let's just pretend I haven't done these ballparks. So down here, go to Workshop Central, and then forget that this says download item again. This is what will come up for you are the things that you subscribe to. You would click on the ones, let's say Major League Stadiums. Then it will say this item is downloaded. Click here to install or reinstall it. Do that. And I just accidentally did it. So now we're going to let it do it while we talk for a minute. Big Clue says he's not a minor broadcaster. He's well over 18. I think that Out of Park Baseball is another. I don't understand why people don't own this game either. My God, you get all of baseball. And not just Major League Baseball. You get minor leagues, Negro leagues, whatever. This is a great, great program as well. It's not as easy to do certain things as an Action PC baseball, but it's brilliant too. It's just brilliant. Yeah, so I have 1908, and it was so cool to see these guys in the high socks and all that. Yeah, if you're going to download mods, guys, get the uniforms and the ballparks, and you're off to the races. And we'll do an exhibition game here just real quick. Not going to do a whole broadcast, obviously, but because I am trying to keep these shorter. But what's nice about these two mods is if you just want to replay two teams anywhere, right, in a tournament or 70 teams, I think you can do in Out of the Park Baseball, it will have the appropriate logo for that year, the appropriate ballpark, and the appropriate uniform. And that's nice. And I was playing a game today while watching Steve Tate's game, and just the fluidity of this game this year, the way it's just this is leaps and bounds better than Out of the Park 23. And the Cubs and Bears, he puts thousands of hours into each iteration of this thing and puts me to shame. I average about 150 hours on each edition of Out of the Park, but this one I think I'm going to stick with a little bit more. Todd B says he still has to pick a team for the Howie Shanks Bingo League in a ballpark. He's been having some knee issues. Hopefully he can try to get to by the end of the week. I don't even know when they want to start it, Todd. I'm waiting. I'd love to start it Wednesday because I'm off Thursday, but the way Steve's talking, it's not going to be. It's probably not going to be until I guess next weekend or something. So maybe we'll do like MV will do a game maybe next Sunday because I'm off that Monday. Maybe MV does a game earlier in the day because of his whatever. Steve does one. I do one. Maybe we'll do 3 games that day. I just got to ask Steve how we're going to pass the league file around because it would be crazy to have like as we go on, we're going to end up playing probably about 50 games, and of course, as MV feels, we could probably do the entire season between 3 channels. I think we definitely could do it, or I should say among the 3 channels. So MV, I hope the ballpark thing helped you in assigning ballparks and assigning teams to ballparks. Just remember, don't assign players to ballparks or players to year because that will really kind of mess things up for you. I should probably install a 1970s season, huh? But I like the high socks. I can't help it. This is a big, big mod, by the way. It's taking a long time, but it's worth it. And I don't know if you guys realize this, but in Out of the Park, you can also design your own ballparks right in there if you want, which is nice. And you can supersede any ballparks that are in there. I was watching a Google SketchUp tutorial. I'm going to try my hand at making a ballpark in Google SketchUp. I was watching Mike Silva's tutorial on it, and it was just absolutely mind blowing. A mod for stirrups, nice. Yeah, definitely, Aaron. I'll be glad to see that. So, Todd, I do have a database that is in the proper format for importing players. So we actually could, if you'd be willing to split maybe I would take a league and you would take a league because we have it split into two leagues or two divisions. The Howie Shanks. We could do this in out of the park baseball because I have the database that's in proper format for bringing players in. If you don't mind doing some copying and pasting, we could do it. We could definitely do it. Would you be willing to um, put some time in with it? We definitely could do it. It's not going to be as easy as Action PC Baseball, but we definitely could do it because all the hard work's been done. Let me know, think about it. I mean, and I think it'd be fun. In fact, if we could get it set up, it'd be really cool to see how this would work out. Playing the Howie Shanks League in two great baseball sims. Boy, it's been a while since I've been on. This feels really weird, but fun. But fun. And I did see your comment there, Big Clue, about rolling up characters for 5th edition on the other channel. I still don't have a name. It sort of is, yeah, Todd. And all we have to do is just find the players, copy them, bam, 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 and they're in. Because the hard work's been done. We did the draft in Action PC, so we could do it. And Robbie's talking about he has to do a modified version of it. Yeah, then you import it. Because you can batch import players into out of the park baseball. You can definitely do it. It's just it's a bit more work, but you definitely can do it. And the reason this is taking longer, guys, is I already had this installed. So what it's doing is just copying over everything. So it's like a move. So it's replacing, it's erasing, and writing again. So almost there. We're in Rogers Center now. You know, guys, after watching Mike Silva watching his, and it's like a 2 or 3 part video tutorial on how to do ballparks. What he's done here is gargantuan, and I know, uh, people were downloading them and using these ballparks in other games, but the work that he did in this is ridiculous because you start from just a flat image, a diagram of a ballpark, and you start building from there, and it's really incredible. It was is incredible to me watching watching it last night. So um, go on YouTube sometime if you ever feeling like you want to get artistic a little bit. how to create ballparks in Google SketchUp. It's astounding. It would be, Todd, if we all took a couple of teams, but I think fewer people here own Out of the Park than own Action PC Baseball. I think. I mean, I guess we could take a poll. I could be wrong, though. Maybe more people own Out of the Park. Bang for the buck, it's a better deal, but I don't know. Is anybody playing Digital Diamond outside of playing it with dice, or am I the only one messing with it that way? And yes, Aaron, I'm hoping to order Baseball for Windows for you this week. By the way, I didn't forget. And Ballpark Creator, no. So the Ballpark Creator still isn't as robust in this. It's Google SketchUp that you can really get wild. But the Ballpark Creator and this is serviceable. I'd still say it's the weakest of the new features. They really haven't done any work on it, unfortunately. I'd love to see them do more with it. But with Google SketchUp, Mike Silva did all of these ballparks in Google SketchUp. And using a place called Clem's Ballparks or something. Let me see if I can find it really quickly for you guys, give you an idea. Is it Clem's Baseball? Stadium list. This is it. So I'm going to bring this over, guys, and show you something while Out of the Park's doing its thing. And this is the thing that blew my mind with what Mike Silva's doing. So, because I was messing around with Google SketchUp some years ago, and I'm going to increase this there. So let's take a park like Ebbets. All right, so there's Ebbets Field, guys, right there. So you can see there's the profile of the park showing how the stands were, and then its layout. And he brings this into Google SketchUp, shows you how to set points of origin, moving around the X, Y, and Z axes, and like how you're tracing out the warning track, then the walls, how to raise the walls. It's quite a process, but it's really, really amazing. And there you even have the dimensions, so it shows you how to get line, from point of origin to the power alleys to dead center to what have you. Dice patterns can be randomized, right? Well, the other thing that you can do, Todd, which will work just fine, is go on Steam and get a thing called Sophie's Dice. And just use Sophie's Dice in another window, and you're all set. You can create your own custom dice in it. I have it. It's fun. So, Herb, this is what he uses to create the ballparks from. So this is his guide, Ebbets. So we can, there, look, we can see how Ebbets changed over the field, by the way. There's with the second deck, first deck. So let's pick 1931. And he draws these out. It's amazing. And then having these two guides, the profile, right, because looking down here, Herb, obviously you're not, unless you've been to Ebbets Field, you're not going to know how was this profile. So there's the roof, upper deck, lower decks, and then right there you can see the lights up there. So this is 1948, 1914. And of course, this is when they played that other game there too. But let's go to 1914. There we go. There it was in 1914. A very different Ebbets than this one, that's for sure. Yeah, this is his template. So what he does, guys, is he brings this into Google SketchUp, scales it up, and then from there he starts. He'll go to here. It's like, okay, this is like this wall. I'm gonna look at. Let's look at 1931. So he's gonna give you these measurements down here, which is really cool, right? So you're getting how far away, right? You're getting wall height and everything. And what Google SketchUp does is it will actually, and I'm gonna bookmark this page or whatever. But it will, if you say, for instance, like we have here, 393. When you do this and you draw the line and snap it there, you type in 393 feet. And this actually geo-references the ballpark. That's why in out-of-the-park baseball, you'll see these in Google Earth because you can actually geo-reference everything. But it will mark this at 393 feet, 351 there to the left power alley, 344, what have you. And then automatically the ball flights are going to be there because the out-of-the-park guys supplied the PRK files. Okay, this is done. So let's close. And we're going to look at 1908 just for a minute. Because I think he did a great job. Do they look as good as the ballparks that come with the game? No, but they're pretty damn good. All right. So there we got, I'm managing the Pirates, but you can manage anybody you want. But let's just do a real quick exhibition. Let me see. Who do we like? 1908. We got to pick, right, the Cubs, and let's play the Cubs and the Giants. And you guys see I don't use Space Gen. So, all right. So we're on our way to very, very early polo grounds. Yeah, let's bring that up a little bit. And what I've noticed playing this today is like the runners, like when you have a runner on base, as the pitch is coming in, they'll like sort of the crouch lean. It's really, really cool. Yes, in Google SketchUp, you can do things like add an upper deck, trees, outfield signs, bullpen area. Yep, you can do that. You definitely can do that in Google SketchUp. But I would definitely watch his video. All right, so you guys could just see. I probably could maybe, let's see if we can change the camera view a little bit. Let's see, what's the wide camera look like? I don't like the wide camera. How about what's behind the mound looking like? Nah. There you can see the high socks. There's a little action TV. There you can see the high socks there that MV was talking about. So we'll go ahead and do this. And it's going to do its little stadium fly around of the polo grounds. Again, an early polo grounds. You can see the wood. And then, boom. I'm not going to call this game, so just try to get somebody on base here. Fly to right by Frank Chance, and we got a home run by Frank Chance. So, but I think it looks real nice. And so what I was showing you guys from that, actually let's go to Ebbets Field once so that you guys get a better. Let's just simulate this game and leave. Yep. And the Cubs beat the Giants 6-3. Let's do another exhibition game, and we'll play at Ebbets so you can see what it looks like. All right, so we'll just play the Phillies at the Dodgers. Well, Superbas, actually. Since they weren't the Dodgers yet. All right, let's go back. Let's change our view to wide low. Now, if you remember that diagram that he was using, this is what came out of it. So this is Ebbets Field, 1908. If there was an Ebbets Field. Actually, I don't know what park this is. This is not Ebbets. Shit, I'm gonna have to put in something after 1913 so you can see it. Let's do that. Because I really want you to, I want you guys to see how this works. So let's pick one, 1916. Let's go back to the start screen and let's do a historical game and let's do 1916 since that was their first time in the World Series. Okay. Just take a minute. Yeah, I do. I do, Todd B. I think they will. I think it will get very close to MLB The Show. If you're setting up a league in out of the park baseball, and you're doing a season replay, use historical lineups and transactions because they're in here. If you're playing before affiliated minor leagues, I never put these in. I just don't. And then the other thing, don't enable this because it will put fictional players. I turn off financials. Don't ever use them. I don't care. I play 1 to 100. I know Al does 1 to 10. Major League Baseball does 20 to 80. Make sure you have fictional pictures turned off. If you don't want to use FaceGen, you want to use photos. And then we'll just call this 1916 replay. Because, boy, if I really want to kill viewership, this would be the one to do it. I'm gonna play in commissioner mode because that gives you a lot of power to move around and stuff. But I want to do this in Ebbets so you guys can see what Mike Silva really did here. It's brilliant. Can Strat ever get past the Commodore 64 graphics? Geez, I think the first hardball, which was on Commodore 64, looks better. But all right, where are you there? So Brooklyn Robins. There we go. All right, there we go. There's the Robins. Yay, yay us. All right, so let's do an exhibition. And let's play the Cubbies against the Dodgers, or what were they that year? The Robins. There we go. And we're on our way to Ebbets. Now I could bring that diagram back up, which I will. So that you get a nice sense of it. All right. So let's bring this over here again. Ebbets Field, 1914. So let's make sure we're caught up here. Yep. So yeah, 1914. There we go. Now it's not showing the wall here, but there's definitely a wall. But you're going to see the same configuration. There it is. Same thing. See it? Got that weird angle and going all the way out. Boom, boom, boom. So this was created from that. And this is nice if you're making ballparks. You just want to start with the first deck and then click to the second deck and use this as your guide. All right, so there we are. Ebbets Field. Now this isn't accurate. The Schaefer beer sign was not around. A lot of this advertising. So this is for flavor, but the advertising They haven't gotten to that point yet because this was a big point of contention between Walter O'Malley and Branch Rickey, and O'Malley won and put the beer advertising in there. But nonetheless, nice little fly around of Ebbets, which looks really cool. And it is geo-referenced. So Heine Zimmerman steps in against Rube Marquard. Marquard fires it in. And just movement. I wish I could zoom in on the players here. We can do that. Let's see if this gives us what's this. Nah. You can set your own cams in this. There, wide camera gets us a little bit more. When they started putting players' names are going to be on later seasons. You'll see that. So what is this? I don't even know what I'm using here. So let's use wide camera for everything. I mean, damn, it looks great. It looks great. Love it. The animation is so much better. I think the parks look better now. Backtobaseball.com, interesting database site with animated replays of any at-bat you can think of. Never heard of it. All right, well, something else to get lost in, I suppose. Backtobaseball.com. Let's look at it. Let's look at backtobaseball.com. I'll bring this over so you guys can see it, because I've never messed with this either. Welcome to our redesigned site. Okay. Well, holy shit. All right, so D. Scott, what do we do? Hey, there he is. World's Worst Gamer. We know. Welcome in, Worlds. Greeting us from Canada. Oh, this is cool. You have simulations view virtually every game in baseball history. No way. Nuh-uh. You're kidding me. This is nuts. No way. All right, let's just Giants versus Reds. Holy shit. Every play. Oh my God. This is brilliant. View the play. Wow. This is crazy. D. Scott, you're my hero. This is playing out the damn game. This is nuts. So, wow. You know who would love this site is Clinton Parks. This thing's playing out the damn game. He's just playing the game. This is unbelievable. Oh my God.
Welcome to Crosley Field in Cincinnati, for the game between the New York Giants and the Cincinnati Reds. Here are the starting lineups. For the New York Giants. Batting in the lead-off spot. The second baseman, Eddie Stanky.
Aaron Reed,
Batting
you got to be
second.
checking this one out.
The shortstop, Al Dark. Batting third. The right fielder, Don Mueller. Batting fourth. The third baseman, Hank Thompson. Batting fifth. The first baseman,
Okay, so I can't stand that. What else? What else can we do here? What can we do? Teams. What can we do? Jeez. D. Scott, how'd you find this, man? This is nuts. Well, if he did, way to go. Simulation. Make a new game from your favorite lineups? Are you kidding me? Oh my God. All right, let's play. Let's mess around for a few minutes. Let's take the 1970 Baltimore Orioles versus the 1929. They're always our acid test, aren't they? Philadelphia Athletics. Okay, each player in the lineups chosen, including pitchers, play the complete game. The full career of each player is used to determine the player's likely performance. Blah, 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 blah. Let's go. Perform simulation. Jeez. This is nuts. This is absolutely crazy. Wow. And you're right. You can go right to this game. Wow. All right. I'm blown away. I'm blown away. You can say how many triples, for example, player hit with a runner on second, went out in the third inning. Big clue. Did you know about this site? This is incredible. What a great way to. Bottom of the first. This is absolutely nuts. Wow. Okay, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. What's the search do? Situational search. Find out who's the best in the clutch by exploring our statistical player performance data. Features dozens of custom options to search a bases loaded, runners in scoring position versus team or pitcher, full date range, and many more. Boy, I wish we could put on our Ned McGreevy league or our Howie Shanks league. Wouldn't that be funny? This is insane. Well, I do remember that Baseball Gauge didn't do stuff like this, but wow. So, what if we did? Can I do Lou Gehrig? There he is. Okay, Lou Gehrig, regular season with 2 outs, facing a right-handed hitter, runner on first. Calculate performance. This is nuts. This is absolutely nuts. Click on any results table to see the plays. How the hell did they even do this? 36 was a good year for Lou. And then you can look at the actual play based on those criteria that you set. Okay, I'm blown away. um, oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's it. Talk about lost. Are you kidding me? Thank you, D. Scott Howard. Wow. All right. Nice. All right, let's do one more that won't have the high socks, but we're going to go ahead and simulate. Pick a season there, fellers. Pick a season. Pick a season. Pick a season. Pick a season. Any season. Oh, I was thinking outside of dead ball, but if you want to do 1919, we can do that. I was thinking something a little bit more quote unquote modern. Aaron Reed says 1990. All right, let's do 1990. Actually, we could play the 1990 Reds. Oh, no, I got it. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do, Aaron Reed. We're going to play the 1919 White Sox against the 1990 Reds. We'll do a quick game here. We'll do a quick game. All right. So, dead ball. Actually, 1917 White Sox were actually a little better, but we'll do the 1919 guys. All right. And 1990 Cincinnati Reds. There they are. Let's do it. We'll go with the lineups the way they are. Let's just have fun. Looks pretty good. And we're going to be playing in Cincinnati. Eddie Cicotte against Jose Rico. There's Riverfront Stadium. Looks pretty good. I don't know if I remember how to do this anymore. It's been a while. All right, welcome to Riverfront Stadium. Let's do the sexy fly-through. Rico's and Eddie Collins, little comeback to the bound. Rico up with it and on to Morris for out number one. Here's Nemo Leibold, 302 hitter. Jose Rico, 14 and 8 in 1970. He winds and fires to Leibold. Leibold cuts on this one. Fly ball to center. And into the glove of Eric Davis. Now you'll notice that it didn't pick the high Sox option because we're in an exhibition game. But if you were to point a bunch of different teams, then you can actually do it by team. Yeah, just like Busch Stadium, right? And Three Rivers and the Vet. Shootless Joe Jackson cuts on it. Oh, what a play at third! And the Red Sox go in order, 1, 2, 3. Go to the bottom of the first. Billy Hatcher to lead it off here against Eddie Cicotte. and the Black Sox. Seacott peers in, has the sign. Billy Hatcher, a cut and a miss. So Seacott picks up the K. And here's Barry Larkin. Seacott fires it in. Larkin on the first swing, come back to the mound. Seacott up with it and tosses on to Chick Gandil for out number 2. So 2 up, 2 down for the Cincinnati Reds for Hal Morris. Seacott fires it in. Morris, first pitch swinging. This one could get down into center, and it will not. It would just get down into the glove of Hap Felsch. No runs, hits or errors, and nobody left on. Top of the second, no score at Riverfront Stadium. Let's change the I like this camera angle, though. I like seeing the whole thing. You can do dynamic action camera if you want, which I think it's on. You can also do follow ball flight, but I don't think I want to do that. Reho fires. Felsch swings. And Felsch is aboard. Infield single. The other thing you can do, of course, with this, F8. This works for anything. You can see here Buck Weaver, 32% chance he's gonna hit this to right. So kind of nice little thing. And then F8 toggles it. Let's do something here. It's probably gonna make me seasick, but we're gonna do this because it kind of looks kind of cool. Follow ball. Let's follow the ball. So that's kind of, it gives you a little panoramic view there. I'm not going to call this game, guys, just messing around a little bit. And that's kind of cool, too. And just think when it gets to the level of MLB The Show or close. Still pretty damn sweet. And you can set up all these different camera views. But watch Weaver. Watch Buck Weaver once the pitch starts. He'll crouch down. It's really cool. See? Just those little touches they put into the game this year. Pretty nice. Pretty nice.
Strike 3.
I'm just really, really, really glad that this is here now. Finally. There you can see there's Ray Schock. This is usually the angle that Chris plays with. You can see the White Sox in their uniform. Pretty cool. Well, let's switch the view. Let's see what this will look like here. Like batter's box. Let's do batter's box for everything. Just for giggles. It's weird. I'm not used to it. It is so weird. Let's throw a follow ball on, right? Allow dynamic action cameras. Yeah, let's have fun. Again, not MLB The Show, but this is pretty damn impressive. This is a text baseball sim. Yeah, there's some screen tearing. It's to be expected, I think. Here's Hap Felsch. Oh, he hit that one all the way to the wall. The Red Sox up 2-0 on Aaron Reed's Reds. Bucky Weaver now, Felsch second. Weaver sends this out to left, coming in on it, and making the catch is Billy Hatcher, side retired. White Sox, 3 runs, 2 hits, and Chicago up 3-0. Bottom of the third, Chris Sabo, Jody Reed, and Jose Rico. Eddie Seacott with 3 strikeouts in the game. Ray Shaw, the Cracker, sets the target for Eddie Seacott. Here's the wind and the delivery to Sabo. Sabo cuts on this one, grounder to short, and up with it to Sweet Risberg on to Chick Gandil. 6-3 put out, 1 away for Jeff Reed. I kept saying Jody Reed, sorry. Reed sends this to left. This one has distance. It's gone. I don't know. I think that's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. Way to go out of the park. I just can only imagine what this game is going to look like as it just keeps going. It looks nice. And you can set these cameras to have this closer so you're not this far back in the stands or anything. Yeah, I kept saying Jody Reed. I meant Jeff Reed. Here's Billy Hatcher, 0-for-1. This is going to get down, base hit. I mean, it's pretty clear that out of the park development is trying to, make this game a bit more, to try to get the MLB, the show, people to realize that, these games can look pretty cool too, and it does look nice. Yeah, they do. Again, the crowd doesn't look great. Definitely agree with you on that. All right, let's switch our first view to 70s behind home plate. That's cool looking. That is really cool looking. Let's set them all that way once. I'm just dicking around here. I'm gonna end the stream in a couple of minutes. There's a lot more cameras this year too. There we go. All right, let's see what this looks like. That's kind of confusing and weird. Anyhow, Gotta love it. Todd B says if I had Sims baseball, I'd be Trevor Bauer and follow his off the field antics. All right, I'm gonna set this back to just the way I usually would play it. Anyhow, that's it, guys. I gotta change these options. I don't want to be following the ball and stuff like that. Back to old boring whatever. There we go. Now it's making sure it's working here. Yep. All right. Of course, you guys remember in this, you can, just like in Action PC, you can switch to pitch by pitch mode. Which I'm not going to keep doing. Anyhow, we're going to simulate this and we're done. See how they did, Aaron. Chicago White Sox edged the 19 Cincinnati Reds of 1990, 4-3. And of course, you can see the year appropriate logos, which I think is really nice. And now you can click on the logos and get all this amazing information, which I love. We can see their starting rotation. So there's a lot of things that I think are going that really speak really nicely for out of the park baseball. So there we go. Nice ball. It's a nice ball game, and I love it. I love it just as much. I think it's great. Anyhow, guys, that's it. I'm pretty much done for the night. Thanks for hanging out for a little bit. And MV, if you're still here, I hope that and you are, that those little tutorials helped. I do. Between this and Action PC Baseball, there's literally nothing that you couldn't do. One of the things that I really love about this game too, with tournaments, right? These historical exhibitions, is you can have up to 70 teams if you wanted to go nuts, or you can just select a World Series, which I like. What was the last one that? Yeah, I mean, we wanted to do for Todd. There we go. So we got. There's the Boston Braves and the Cleveland. They want to be the Guardians, but you could play anybody even just within these two things. So much you can do with these two games. It's ridiculous. We are living in the platinum age of baseball sims. I mean, we really are. Anyhow, back to 1908 I go. Thank you, Todd B. Thanks, everybody, for coming in. Thanks for hitting the like button, guys. The cats and I really appreciate it. And we'll be seeing you soon. Hopefully, maybe, find out what's going on with the Howie Shanks Baseball League. All right, until then, guys, thank you to Todd B., Aaron Reed, Herb Pilgrim, and you're welcome, my friend. MV, Big Clue, John DFW. Yes, they are. John probably left. I didn't even see him in here. Jeez. Yep, they're in there now, John. So definitely get them. D. Scott Howard, who's another aficionado of Out of the Park Baseball. Sean DeMarco, a.k.a. World's Worst Gamer. Always glad to see him. And Sean DeMarco needs a wrench, by the way. I have to remember to do that. And I think that is pretty much everybody. Yep, it is. All right, guys. See you guys around the batting cage. Thank you so much. Good night.